Hello.
We're back.
Ladies and gentlemen, roosters and hens and everything else in between. We are back. We are Cock Talk, and we have a special guest. But before we get to that, as always, from the Coop Collective, we have myself at MBF Express. We have our trusty producer who is overworked and has broken his hand. Well, we're not going to get into that. Josh at Grateful Coops, and the man with the tinfoil theories. We got Blake from Waddle Waddle Racing, and as a special guest tonight, our favorite mod, not named Elven Alliance, from the Chicken Coop guest award. We have at Onceharby. Our friend Zach is here, and we're going to get into some details with him today. How's it going, fellas?
Welcome.
Pretty good.
Doing all right.
Thanks for inviting me in, guys. Apologize for last week too. I will take the blame on there not being a show. We tried to start, but since I didn't have the facial hair, everyone was like, no go. Took a lot of convincing to get you guys going this week.
And then Blake goes and shaves. What the hell is wrong with you?
I had to lighten the load.
Hey, shout out to Elvin too. That guy is a true mod. He never lets the chat down. So
we keep trying to drag him on here, and he goes, I don't know.
No.
Hey, I appreciate him. Yeah, I appreciate him.
He's excellent, man. We love him. Yeah, so this has been a little bit of a layoff. We're a little bit of rust jumping off here, but not a problem. So I guess, as usual, let's jump in just a little bit and check out our friend at CJ Butterman and see what this marketplace is looking like. I don't believe we have too much to get into in the marketplace, as we have a little bit of a quiet period right now, which is natural. Everyone's kind of waiting on bated breath for the next moment we have something to get a little bit of hype going. But let's take a look at this, Josh. We got it up.
Yeah, I got it up here, and as you can see, it looks about the same as it's been for the last couple weeks.
Yeah, really steady, and that's kind of nice. That's not something we're completely used to in the NFT space. It's just like a steady market that remains where it should be. So
yeah, it's well above the floor of the last mint, so you love to see that. And the perfection prices seem to be holding strong. They've tapered off and gone up in certain departments. It's just kind of back and forth. You see the 97s slip down a little bit, and the 96s and 95s have crept up a little bit. Seems to be balancing out. It looks. And
paper thin floors, really. The higher end stuff. You can't even. We've had a lot of people come in recently, just kind of saying like, "How do I price this?" And we've gotten into some ways to price where you can look at groupings and break down, but in the end, these floors are very much fabricated, especially higher up we go, and the rarer you go, very much fabricated, and they'll bust at any minute. And I keep like 10 different birds at a time on my browser, just sitting there, and I check on them. And sometimes you see people just pull them, and they're just like, I'm done. I don't feel like that number anymore. Some people keep bleeding them down a little bit, so it's always a little bit in flux anyway.
Shout out to Butterman.
I will say I do that same thing, and I started favoriting some too. There is one breaking point, not that I want to give it away because I've been looking to buy recently, but I think that there's a super undervalued 98 market. We'll leave it at that.
Sure, we can use Butterman's chart to figure that one out.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. I agree. Believe me, I have a couple other NFTs that I'm kind of looking at, waiting to get rid of because they're sitting there, and I don't know how much longer they're going to be sitting there. And the 98 is an interesting little market right now.
It is. It is an interesting market.
I see the eye cosmetic birds as alien, eye patch, and lizard seem to have all balanced themselves out. There was some discrepancies a couple weeks ago from the last time I actually looked at one of these charts. So
that's the weird floor
looks like
mechanic.
The market just in a whole has like found a balance.
All it really comes down to is like 3 people that have eye patches want to sell them, and they list them low, and until they go, it looks strange. It looks like there's a disparity there.
We don't even know what they do yet. It's just we need to, I don't know, let those people get rid of them. That gives other people the opportunity to get some pretty cool birds.
Yeah, as our wonderful buddy at Winter Circle, ETH Charles says, I'm not selling any of these whatsoever. Nope. Even though he has 300 plus, he's not selling a single one because it only takes one, and we don't know. We just don't know yet. And any one of these we're buying at any point could be something special. So,
Yeah.
my sister got 2 this week. I gave her the pitch and she's in.
Nice.
she dove in with Sarama and a white beak. So,
Oh yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
Shout out to
she-
the White Beaks again.
Yeah, white
Yeah,
beak gang.
bringing the family in too. Big.
yeah.
Yeah, she used to do World of Warcraft and whatnot, and I started explaining, like, imagine if you could have did like play to earn on World of Warcraft, and she goes, "Okay, keep talking," and I was like, "All right, there we go." Now I talked to her for like 15 minutes, and she just looked at me like I was psycho. And then once I said that, it was something just clicked, and she said, "Well, wait a second, you're onto something there."
Anybody that's paid to play a game, this makes sense. You know, if you paid for cosmetics or to upgrade or seasons, and you know, this makes sense, I think.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Oh, it's just it's awesome getting new people involved into something that you know, we've been sitting on for since June.
Yeah,
Like, even knowing about it. I mean,
and I still feel okay. Like, yeah, there's when she saw, she already knew what she was putting in, is obviously you had to deposit the money, but like when she saw the actual amount of money per chicken she was buying, and I was just like, before you do that, and I told her like 5 different projects just to put in OpenSea real quick so she could see what they were, and she just started just saying, "This isn't real." I was like, "No, it's not, but it is," and and it's very real. It's very real once you pull it out. So,
Well, the nice thing too is, you know, we're all in the same sentiment that pending game launches goes well, even if you don't participate, your investment should already rise, right?
Mm.
So
Right, yeah.
that's a general sentiment, and the reason why you guys are doing the podcast, why I, you know, have cornered myself as part of this game and become part of this market, is because we have faith, right? Like, we see it, we have faith. So
right.
even if she chooses later down the line, hey, you know, maybe I'm not going to raise chickens, still a solid investment.
Yeah, it really is.
Absolutely.
Honestly.
I need to. I wish, like, even my buddy Cahill was saying the other day, is like, I wish I had more friends that were into this shit. Everyone just thinks I'm batshit crazy. It's like,
I know the friends I can bring this
are,
to, and I know the ones I can't.
Yeah.
Just
well,
don't even
and
try.
what's funny is those people will eventually be like, dang, I wish I would have looked into that a little more.
No, I tell even the ones that I know aren't going to do it, so that way I can throw it in their face here in a couple years, you know.
Yeah. Oh, I just texted a group of buddies. The podcast name that I was coming on right now. I know I'm probably getting a lot of what questions right now.
What kind of podcast?
Yeah.
Do something to tell us.
Speaking of that,
Good old
there's some
Sunday
pretty good
night.
memes
Good
that
old
we got
Sunday
to,
night conversation.
Yeah, speaking of that, we got some pretty good memes in the meme contest last week, so we'll be giving that bird away. They were too good. We couldn't really decide. So Tyler had the idea of just take it to the wheel. I mean, why not?
Yeah, when we put them all in the chat, we started getting a lot of them that were kind of like getting the same amount of numbers, and then 3 of them really just like took off above the others, and then there was a bunch that were in the same. I'm like, all right, you know, let's just go ahead and use the wheel again. Get 4 of them in here and make it a little suspenseful. So this time, you know, when you see the wheel and there's 200 people on there, you just see like dots. And this time you actually see the names. Like, for
this
the
one will be a little more
cool.
suspenseful for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be doing that towards the end of the show. So yeah, stick around for that. So yeah, we've got some news and updates to talk about. I think we've had 2 dev blogs since the last time we were on the air, and had some questions answered in the chats by some users, and Apex was quick to respond.
Yeah, very tech heavy. 2 weeks ago, very tech heavy blog. You know, understandable. You know, this is grind time. They're doing. They want to put out something. Next time we see it, I saw someone in the chat just, I think today or yesterday, that was just like, can't they just show us them running in a straight line? And I'm like, you know what? I don't want to see it until
we've seen that already.
Yeah, like even
look at all the YouTube
updated
videos.
graphics, even with the updated graphics, like. When I see it next, I want to be wowed, and I'm pretty sure that's their intention is. So, you know, I'm waiting perfectly fine for that.
I take it back to the comment made back when the Jetpack was first released, and Apex was like, I really didn't feel comfortable releasing this because it's not finished.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he said a couple other things, and then sure enough, a week later, that image was just amazing. So
yeah, and it still blew Jetpack's market apart. So
these guys definitely have the knack to make it look, and they know what they're looking for as far as a polished product, I think.
Right. So we got a lot of breakdown there. We got a lot of where they're loading the data and getting it set up, and they got in this very latest one, they had the actual data taken over that you can start actually computating out through the actual race. And then we got a little something. It was after the fact, but just during the actual blog, we saw something in there about traits. So we had some questions after the fact. So for starters, we had our buddy Dave, Pecking Order Racing, kind of just getting a little antsy, and I don't blame him. Was like, all right, I'm gonna see if we can pin him down here, and asked just about dates as far as the airdrop, which is a huge part. The airdrop still may be a huge reason that Cuppy and some others came in. When that got announced, we saw a surge. Now we've all been waiting on it. So we just wanted an idea of when we might see airdrop, and they gave us a nice little Apex came in and said that they're hoping to publish on this by Wednesday.
Yep.
So this upcoming Wednesday.
That's huge, right? I mean, that's what and we were talking before the show that basically coming up, the way I see it is there's three things going to happen. The airdrop, and naming is going to correspond with some website that's coming about, right? We've already heard the rumors that chickenderby.com was purchased. And so if that's the case, I think naming is going to correspond with the website being released. One of the other drop kind of things that we got was that template of your bird. Everybody saw that?
Yeah, I like that. It was like a player. It was like a player profile page.
I guess
like,
is that what would
player
you call
card,
it?
player stats?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were all dummy stats, but it was still cool to see it. Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be cool. I think you're going to be able to go in and click on your bird, or maybe even I might be able to go into one of your guys' coops and see, what kind of bird does Harby have over there, which is, I think, sweet. So,
well, yeah. And if you're looking to, breed on the open market, you're going to want to know everything you can about who you're paying or who you're allowing to breed with yours.
Breeding. Also, like if you can see somebody else's coop and you can look at their birds, there can be a lot of strategy to thinking about time of racing that you want to do. Like, do I really want to go up against this guy? Right. I mean, think about like online poker days and stuff. I hover a table? Do I really want to sit at this table with these players?
Right.
Yeah.
Or I want to be sure to sit at this table.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
that's going to be
we're going to get to a point, think a couple years down the road, and there's going to be names that just stand out that
coops that stand out that you stay away from. You might stay away from a whole coop just because that these birds are always run right, and this person knows what they're doing.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what though, we're not all the smartest people, especially when we first get into a new space. And when I thought I was good at DFS and I really started researching hard and getting into it, at the time on DraftKings, I think he was on FanDuel as well. Condia was one of the top players, and I would see him and I'd be like, I'm facing him this week. I'm going to take down Condia. Idiot. Like I'm an idiot for taking that guy on, but I would just do it because the ego's there and I'm younger and I'm thinking like, so you're still going to have that. You're going to start getting these rivalries, these ideas of just like, I kind of think I want to take this guy on. So, you'll get a little bit of that, especially, when we have some big bucks floating around this area and you think your bird's good. And, it's not exactly like DraftKings. It's a little bit more of like, I think I have a good bird, especially when you really do think you have a good bird. And you can say, hey, this bird, and it almost get to the point where it's like, ooh, this bird beat that bird. It'd be funny if that starts becoming a narrative.
Oh, yeah.
Of course.
Well, Marcus LaFleur brings up a pretty good point in the chat. I wonder if they're going to do the thousands of simulated races like Z2 to calculate odds. I hope it's not like that, and what we see in the races is the first iteration of the race. I mean...
Well, it seemed like one thing that when during the Q&A section, and I don't know if we have this one popped up, but it's okay. They were asked kind of like what that dynamic would be. And they said I think in the blog or in the Q&A that they weren't happy with the fact that some of the traits weren't reacting the way they should be during the race, even though they were set up and applied beforehand. Right. So it seems like they're going to take the data set of everybody. It'll then computate in real time and we will see what comes from it. So it seems much less of a predicted based on past, but predicted based on algorithm in the moment. So that's what I'm hoping for, at least, because that
Based
makes
off
for
all
more
the
random.
birds that are in that particular race.
Right.
Yep.
Right. So
Yeah, I think
that's
you're right.
we've kind of speculated that some things might have a certain defense to other things, right?
Right.
Again, that's going to all correlate to the overall algorithm of that race. Each race is going to have its own different outcome, unique outcome, based on those parameters of each bird. The question becomes is how do you not allow for a set group of birds just dominate overall with that happening? So there's got to be certain things that really, everything has a negative to the a positive to the negative, if that makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Every
even the
action
best
has an
birds.
equal or opposite reaction.
There we go. Even the best birds. So
Philosophizer now.
even those
Right.
hundreds that have all 4 rare traits, right? There's a few of those, I think like 1 or 2 that are out there. Those have to not win every race. I mean, if they do, then
Well, I think even
pointless,
like
yeah.
the thing we haven't brought up in a long time is like the acts of God. Those things are going to come in and they're going to cause just mayhem. So and it seems like there may be, and this is probably a good time just to roll right into this point, which I thought was a huge point. They were talking about just traits in general in the dev blog. And we had one of the users just flat out ask, like, hey, is it a secret thing? Or are we going to get a little bit of understanding about what these traits do? And the answer was pretty straightforward. It was the secrets of the game are meant to be discovered while playing it. And you will find out if those traits, how much those traits affect each race and each game. So it basically confirmed that just about every trait is going to have some type of effect. It's just a matter of determining what it is, which just blows the thing open in my mind.
Well, I think you brought up an interesting point earlier about how the act of God could play a role. And I think that act of God could be a huge factor as far as we don't have any clue about what consistency is for any of the birds.
Yeah.
And I mean, and you could have a bird that is a 90 but it's just, like it says in the tutorial, it could be rearing and ready to go, so maybe that 90 all of a sudden has the juice of a 95 or something because he's rocking and had I
not
don't know.
Unlike if you were doing like MLB The Show and you were doing a season and you had your pitchers and your rotation and they all have like a fatigue bar,
right?
And like you it's like, oh yeah, I could jump here and decided to throw my second starter out of rotation because his fatigue bar is fine. If the game matters more, and even if, or it's like, all right, or I can pitch this guy for maybe a short race, or maybe I can bring him in if, like, especially if it's a playoff game, maybe I can do 3 innings, and as soon as I see he gets tired, I pull him out. So maybe that'll give you an idea of maybe they'll work in a short race, but that'll be a lot to learn, and that's a really fun part of it.
So do you guys can see, and maybe Harvey, you can step in here too. Do you see consistency similar to fatigue, or what's the difference between the two?
Oh, so my thought is fatigue will more come like how often you're racing them, what all you're doing with them. And it also could totally be like a rust factor too, right? So like if you like just having them rest all the time and then throwing them into a race may not be a great thing either.
Unraced bird may not be very good right out of the gate.
Yeah, absolutely. So I do think fatigue plays that way. Whereas consistency would play into that too. Like if you're consistently keeping up, making sure that they're fit, taken care of, raced birds, then they're going to show that more likely outcome, that more consistent outcome.
Yeah, that little nugget they dropped about how the more you breed, the better your yield will become. It makes me wonder in the same regard for racing. They want you to race these birds, and that's a big thing. I know a lot of the Zed guys come in and have said, like, I'm not racing my birds. It's like, well, I think you might be in for a little bit. There's probably going to be a market for unraised birds because people are it's like the unopened pack, the unopened drop. You don't know what you're getting and you're excited. And it's like, I'll take the early speed bumps of getting this bird oiled up, if you will. But they really want to incentivize the idea of racing these birds. So yeah, if keeping them on a regular schedule is part of their consistency, that's a huge part of it, which only incentivizes the people that are more engaged and playing more.
I think I like what this says in the blog here. One of the milestones we hit this week is with our game play. where we added new elements like boosters and speed ups.
Mm-hmm.
So you remember in the video where we saw those little
Yep, they're going
Little pops.
up.
Yeah.
those
Maybe that's when your chicken's feeling it that day.
Yeah.
yeah.
is that tied to consistency? Is that a bird that's just really like on the right track, on the right terrain, in this right race with the right bird? So it's getting a little,
Yeah.
because I noticed it was only a few of them. It wasn't all birds that got the little.
Right.
All factors that are
And I hope that's the sound
right
effect
in the right
it makes, too.
circumstances.
Pew, 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 pew.
Actually, I just recorded that. I'll send it to him.
Perfect.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Those sound
Yeah.
effects.
I'm just
Pew,
leave
pew.
that in.
Nice.
We'll get
Yeah,
residuals off that.
I've been thinking about, and this is
Royalties.
backtracking a little bit, but thinking about the blog too, where we got some of the traits, and it's not act of God necessarily, but like the chicken poult flying in, right? I've been
yeah.
thinking, like, is
Got
that
that
going to have
video.
a machete type effect where it hurts the people around him
Knocks
too?
a
I've
bird
been really
over.
wondering how that GIF is going to come out. So it's interesting to see it. It's better than what I expected. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, it
Um,
looks really good.
Here's
does
another
look
thing
really
to
good.
think about. If it does come in, does it always come in from that angle, or does it come in from the other side? And
Front
if
or
so,
Yeah.
is lane one like something that you may not
Don't
want in
want?
certain
What if
scenarios?
the chicken lands in the chicken poult backwards and it launches it forward, but the chicken hits the ground running and runs backwards?
tumbles over it.
Whoops.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Runs
think
backwards.
we've only seen that trait used when the chicken was like in the very back of the race too.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see that trait fire off when that chicken's like in
And
third
that
place.
did launch it all the way to the front of the pack, didn't it?
It did.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. But they did not hit the ground running as fast.
Right.
Not that that matters. Not that that means anything yet. But
But I
there
think
could
some of
be
that will
an
matter.
impact.
Like, yeah, when you think about moving walkway, they're probably going to fire
There it
off of
is.
that. Like, it's not just going to be like, oh, they move up and then they get a fire off burst.
Are they
Whereas
gonna-
chicken pull might just be like a land and kind of get yourself back together and then get up to that running speed again.
Are the talents going to be random throughout the race, or is it going to be like once they hit the 200-meter mark, a talent gets deployed? Is it going to be like set up, or is it just going to be completely random? Like
I hope it's random.
maybe you get
Yeah.
a catapult that launches you over the finish line
Uh-huh.
at the end of the race. Or
Yeah, we
something
don't know
crazy
when
like
it's going to
that.
be. Yeah, that could
Yep.
see. That's exciting because you could literally have
Yeah.
seconds left in this race, and then you the talent comes in. You'll probably get the cut scene thing that they've been doing, and then all of a sudden the chicken pole shows up, and like, man, I've just
Well, he said 1 to 3 would come out in each race. So if we know
Yeah.
that there's only been one that's hit, and
Yeah.
you're down to like the last 100 meters, you're like, oh shit, here's
Yeah.
what's
Fingers crossed.
coming.
like
Yeah.
literally, I'm seeing the slow motion finish again, where like the chicken's literally like flying across, and then like just like eclipses just in front and takes the lead and takes the win. That'd be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, it would be. And traits should affect the race, right? Like that's what I hope for. So I hope for that kind of randomness. I hope
What's
that
the
those
what's
come
the
in.
point of all this? What's the point of doing it this way with NFTs, with the way that rarity works, with the randomization of the distribution when you do the drops? What's the point of all that if it doesn't matter? So it doesn't matter, and they don't have some kind of effect. So it just makes too much sense.
I know that I'm in the minority and that even some people in our own Coop collective disagree with me here, but I think everything that you can search for in OS has some sort of positive or negative effect on your birds racing
Yeah, at this point, I would lean towards yes in that regard.
Mm-hmm.
background.
Yeah. and that-
Chad Carter said, "I didn't get the ball cap memo." Well, here's your memo right here.
I threw one on just to join the
just to
crew.
fit in with the boys. Yeah. It's
Yeah,
all
I
right.
figured I can't pull off the facial hair. I gotta do something. Yeah. 3 of us got the blue shirt memo. But
And-
one
and
of us
Josh
got
is
the
always
shit
doing
in.
it.
Stash.
Josh is always
Yeah.
doing it the wrong way, so
Yeah,
or
it's
his
all
own
right.
way, I should say.
Yeah.
When you guys talk about the backgrounds though, so that's something that hadn't occurred to me at first, and now especially with we're seeing some of the cities come
Right.
out, it starts to make a lot of sense. It
Very
really does.
obviously and in a lot of the write-ups they're talking about the climates, here and there about what exactly it's like, and
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
yeah.
That one's almost like it just makes too much sense to
Yeah.
not have some
Like,
kind of
Like Mexico City's winter is just
Well,
like
you-
a nice day.
So
Like,
there's a
that's
blue
it. So
there's a blue background. It's not named blue. It's named ocean.
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
a red
Winter,
background.
autumn. Yeah,
It's not
It's called
named red.
lava.
It's called lava.
yeah.
Yep.
You wouldn't
know.
have those names
Mhm.
if it didn't have some sort of bearing on your bird.
I
Yeah,
agree.
you think so. You'd think so. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, when you have like the wattles for the most part, now
Yeah.
now some of the custom ones have some interesting names like Candy, but for the most part, the wattles just say what color they are.
Well, so here I've got a question about this too. So there's been a lot of talk about the rare combs and wattles having an effect, but if one wattle has an effect, all wattles have an effect, as for whatever that is. Now it might not have as much power or whatever
Mhm.
in that certain category, but I think all wattles have an effect somewhere. We don't.
Well, in the
still
tweet today, it even said that they had their guys come up with the different color schemes for the comb and wattles, and they forgot to do red, and red is the most common color of all chickens. So
that's actually good. Yeah, I'm glad. Make us different.
Yeah.
Or that also gives them a lot of room for when breeding mechanics come around. Introduce a new wattle.
And we're still of the mentality that either we will never again, or it'll be very rare to see a matching comb and wattle.
Yeah, it'll have to be bred right to get a matching comb and wattle. I would assume.
Or that's just the way you identify the Genesis bird.
I just need a cosmetic that is like a chicken mask for my chicken that has a red comb and wattle. And then he can take it off and show his real
21 coming out, right? There's 21 coming out.
Oh, like a luchador? That would be great. If there's a luchador one,
but it has to have a red comb and wattle.
Oh man.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So yeah, we're talking about the first dev blog that we missed last week, and they had actually hired another animator, it looks like, or new artist to join the team, a total rock star, it says here, and we're actively on the lookout for new developers.
Every week.
Yeah. You love to see that, and that they're
I think
building
this one was
powerhouse
this one was from
team,
Ganja
it sounds
Farmer.
like. What's that?
Yeah, this one was a Ganja Farmer artist that they worked with before.
Yeah.
So and they really wanted to make sure that some of the like crazy ones like Black Hole really have that pizzazz to them.
To speak to that, so I would have already appreciated this and enjoyed it, but knowing that they have a stable of programmers who have already worked on gaming mechanics in large field that have open, almost meta world type feels to them before in their back pocket was a huge thing that sold me to, investing even more.
Well, and that's what I was trying to talk about a couple weeks ago. I think I said, the metaverse is something that's going to happen. And if you think about it, they've already done and written that code from Ganja Farmer. I mean, all they have to do is change the look of it, and presto.
Yeah.
And that's huge.
There's been a lot of questions in the chat that I know you guys see that, are you going to partner with the Decentraland or one of those? But they've already done it. It wasn't called a metaverse then. Right. They've already done it. So in my opinion, though, let's focus on that first. Right. I would love to see our own little metaverse. And then that starts bringing into play the whole, was chicken as the animal intentional, or was animal not intentional?
Yeah.
You I just had a light bulb moment. Because if they do build their own metaverse, do we as farmers get to buy plots of land within that metaverse?
Yeah.
Well, there's a game, and it's a little bit different because it's all about mining, but there's a game called Alien Worlds that I was kind of diving into a little bit, and they sold the land that you could mine on. And then every single person that chooses to mine in your land, you get a percentage point, and you get to set that percentage of how much you get as well. And that was just, and I remember that the land originally was like, it was on the I think Wax blockchain, which is just, it's tough for me. But the land itself boomed in that regard and almost became more valuable than everything else. So there's definitely possibilities there, and precedent definitely set for it.
I mean, I picture like a Disney World of animal racing with, and you can send your farmer into the whatever section that he wants to go and race whatever animals. I think that's inevitable.
Right. Well, think about it. You saw what they're gonna bring with the new, the different characters down the road, and there was a human on there. So I mean, you assume you'd be able to have a full farm, and then walk around with your guy, or you could be your chickens, or the sky's the limit there. It seems.
Yeah.
Fish too, so there's got to be an aquarium of sorts in the meta land.
That would be a first, right? Some aquatic racing. I don't think I've seen
Saw
that.
the sea turtle.
Just a long lane swimming pool where you throw
There's a sea turtle
your
on
fish
there.
in.
You
Yeah.
bet. I'll take a
There
sea
was a
turtle.
shark or something too.
I think
I'd love to see a turtle beat a shark because it has a jetpack. That works for me.
turtle with a jetpack, yes, or an underwater water pack.
Yeah.
Like I do think that like that though. Like I think the idea of like being able to purchase land, being able to like upgrade a coop or something could all come into play. It probably couldn't factor too much into how a chicken races because then it would be pay to win a little bit.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I mean,
but aesthetically,
once you get to that point, though, then you open the door to adding your own token in game as well, and that becomes See how I did
segue.
that?
look at that segue. Look at that segue.
Segue into tokenomics. And that's
softball.
And this was funny, and I'll betray some trust here. When we brought up tokens last time, Blake kind of just like threw it up on Josh's lap, and it landed like a dead fish. And Josh was just like, "Oh God, somebody say something!" And I'm like,
Tyler,
"Oh, I can
save
BS.
me."
I'll start talking." And we're like, "You know what? We need someone that knows a little bit more about this," and that's exactly what Zach knows a little bit more about here. And so I think let you take a little bit of stage here just to give us for the uninitiated, just let's get a basic dumbed down version of what the token can look like and has looked like in other games, and where we may see it in Chicken Derby.
Yeah, for sure. So I love the crypto space in general, and I definitely love the NFT space. So I participate in a lot, and a lot of what I do is gaming. So while I stupidly thought I missed the boat on Zed, so I just never jumped in. I can't speak to their economics a whole lot. I can speak to Axie. I run an Axie scholarship program with some guys, and so I think about SLP and how they use it, which for anyone that's unfamiliar stands for Small Love Potion, which is pretty hilarious. But they use it for their breeding, but they also use it for the economy inside the game. I just think introducing a token, which I think will be done here. I think at some point we will see a token be introduced to Chicken Derby, allows you to do a lot of things. One, it just allows you to potentially use that as what breeding cost, right? So you can have it as a burn mechanism. Like once you use these tokens, you can burn it, they're gone. But it also introduces, at least I think, this may be harder mechanics to do, but more in-game incentives. So I come from the app industry primarily. That's what I've been doing for about the past decade now. And we talk a lot about time on app. So like my sports app, we're really proud of the amount of time on app that people spend, because that's really important to us. It's also important to advertisers and people that want to come in. Axie does a really good job of that by incentivizing you to come play the game. You come, you get your daily task done, you get this SLP bonus, right? Lots of mobile games have done that too, where you complete the daily task, you get this bonus. But now with NFTs and with crypto, we can make that worth something, right? So that's where the token comes in. So just by logging on a day, we could see Chicken Derby maybe give us something that would eventually help you breed at a cheaper cost, for instance, or acquire one of these cosmetics at a cheaper cost. But it also just helps run the in-game economy itself without having to transfer ETH all the time.
Right.
No, it's just a quick little interlude. Is it something that I actually looked up today? Fortnite was taken off the Apple Store app market because of like these bundles they were giving out to try to make VBucks and essentially stretch a little bit further. Is that like the same mentality? Is that something that there'd be an issue with as far as like allowing cheaper rates and whatnot because of the token you have, or is that something that's still pretty common that'll work itself out?
Yeah, I don't think that it would necessarily be cheaper rates. I think that it would be that you could just earn by doing things, right? So let's say you have a chicken of each heritage or something like that. You can earn a smaller amount of these tokens every month. Or you race 3 times a day, you're given a token, something like that.
Okay.
Where let's say breeding costs $500. No idea, just throwing a number out.
Right.
Round number.
Right.
And we may be thinking of that in ETH terms, right?
Right.
But if there was a derby token or a chick token,
breeding token,
whatever,
maybe there's different tokens.
Yeah.
Right.
Whatever it may be. And let's say that it was, we'll compare it to SLP. Let's just say it's worth 10 cents, right? And you could earn a couple of these. Well, it may take you a while, but you could start eventually doing these tasks or doing these things that help the game economy, earning these, and then being able to breed for free one time or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
By burning those tokens.
That makes sense because, I think about just, the baseball clash game I have right now. They have gems. And after a while, you can just get a card. Like they'll be like 500 gems. You can have an upgrade on this card, and that's it. And so I could see that. And otherwise, you'd have to pay for those gems in order to do that. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And most games like League of Legends, does it, all these big games. Sorry, Blake, you were.
No, they were. I remember one of the developers posted something about milestones and doing that sort
I was
of thing.
going to bring that up. There was a whole list of achievements that you could get for like winning X amount of races, being in X amount of races, finishing top 5 in X amount of races, or you know what I mean. And
they could do that on a daily, weekly, monthly. They could do it by seasons. They can set this up, in a number of different ways where, like you're saying, that I think you can earn these tokens. And
one of the hot words or topics, kind of in NFTs anyway, is play to earn, right?
Right.
So yeah,
that's what it's all about these days, ain't it?
Absolutely. And this is a play to earn game per se, but you're having the wager. But if there are play to earn mechanics behind it, where you can unlock some of these achievements and you are given this token, I think that has a big draw, big draw, especially to other countries, other economies. Those kind of mechanics are huge.
Once you go into the metaverse also too, they could have it to where you have your farm. You've got to feed your animals, right? You've got to, and you go and feed 10 birds and you get X tokens.
But here's the thing. What if on the farm, the crops that you could potentially farm are the tokens, right? I mean, you feed your animals with them. You could take them to the general store and trade them for different tokens, or you know what I mean? Like that's where the metaverse seriously just goes crazy.
Good, Blake.
And there, by the size of your farm too, would allow you to, again, just like in real world, the bigger your plot of land, the more you can use it and put more resources and stuff to gain income off of that.
Yep.
So Marcus LaFleur was actually asking a couple more details about Axie. And you might give us a better idea of just understanding. He was asking, how do the actual scholarships work? And does the person lending out the monster get the task completed bonus for other people playing with their Axie? And this was if we understand that a little bit better.
How do you see it working into chickens? Maybe is a better way. How do you see if there were to be a scholarship program with chickens, how would you see that coming about?
Yeah, I think it's going to be difficult the way that chickens or Zed is laid out currently, right? Unless you were talking about grinding out the free races, or like a low dollar races. Now hiring somebody, not like an Axie scholarship, but hiring somebody may work, right? And we know some of these, some of the bigger Zed guys do that already, right? They don't go in and race themselves. They have somebody that has been hired to do the breeding, to do the racing for them. This isn't something that's uncommon. I do think that it wouldn't work the way that Axie scholarships work right now, because the way the Axie scholarships work right now is that you're able to create multiple accounts, somebody that owns a lot of Axies or a certain amount of Axies, and you're able to lend those accounts out to another individual who can complete the daily task, and that's worth money. I don't know if I necessarily see the iteration 1 at least of like a Chicken Derby token being worth a ton outside of the game.
What if you got a kickback because now they have said that we're going to be able to rent our birds out.
Yeah.
Right. So what if when you rent your birds out, those people that are renting it out, whatever they complete, you get X 10% of those tokens that they earn as a kickback.
Yep. I think you will. Yeah, I definitely think
royalties. I get royalties while my birds are on loan. I get a little bit of a royalty kickback on all in-game tokens that they earn.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Or a percent if they're looking to breed it or whatever that may be.
Well, yeah, I think
here's the other thing.
Should be able to set the terms of that contract.
What if they're winning, right? If they're winning races with that bird, do you get a kickback percentage of those winnings? And as also say if you like rent your bird out to them and they breed your bird with some other bird, do you get any type of recipient of that as well?
I link it to more like, and I look at in real life horse racing where they have an owner and a trainer, right? Yeah. You see the owners get the cut, but also that trainer gets a cut because he's the one that spent the time, picked the right race, ran that bird on that track or whatever, but you see both are celebrating in the winner's circle, the trainer and the owner.
Mm-hmm. Well, now again, Marcus LaFleur coming in hot with all these good questions. That also sounds kind of scary. Like, what's to stop someone from completely ruining your chicken's race record and value?
Well, you pick and choose the birds you want to rent.
Them out.
That is the cost of business in a lot of ways. Like who you're going to business with and who you're deciding to take this with, and the length in which these contracts will be, and they should be contracts if you're doing this.
Well, here's the thing. You got to probably be able to vet these people out a little bit, right? I mean, you're going to have to work things out in DMs or do something like that. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be some sort of agreement, or you know what I mean? There's had to be some kind of transparency there between the renter and the rentee.
At a certain point in the game, though, us with large coops, we're going to have so many birds. There's going to be 20 or 15 to 20 birds that we're just going to be like rents, run these. And guess what? If I find a gem out of these, then I'll go ahead and keep them and I'll start maybe putting them into more higher end races.
Well, here's the other thing I was just thinking of, when you rent these birds out to people, you probably could put a cap on the amount of races that they can enter with those birds, so they don't tank your record. Of course. I mean,
you might have a 10 race.
There's got to be a lot of variables and factors in there that you could set when you're renting that bird out that people have restrictions on, so they don't get wrecked.
This seems so distant future too. Like the more that we start talking about the complexities, the more I'm like, oh man, there are a lot of mechanics behind renting a bird out that could take a long time.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's as many behind like the metaverse and racing in general, obviously, and everything. I do think that those could be close.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. I think that the long term is the renting and that, like you said, the token phase, right? Mm-hmm. That's long term. In fact, on the roadmap, I think that was the last phase.
One of the last two. Yeah, mm-hmm. We talked about the roadmap a little bit last episode.
But I do think like not a sudden, but an introduction to the token once we get that, and to how they will tokenize this game and the economy behind this game is going to be another big potential jump in floor and how people value birds and how people value their coop as a whole. Because if it is based on some of these tasks, that could be tasked out on a daily or a weekly basis, mm-hmm. It just we could see people really valuing birds in a different way.
Oh yeah,
and valuing the ability to get those tokens.
Yeah, and the more that kind of like ruminates in my brain of like it's like a loyalty program. The more and more you play, the more and more opportunities you're going to get, and we're all looking for not free opportunities, but in theory it is compared to what it'll cost us to breed in other ways. Could it even be a way to accelerate the breeding? So it's like if there's a rest period, could you cash in and accelerate so you can breed faster?
Totally. I mean, we all know, you mentioned DFS earlier. Mm-hmm. I mentioned poker. let's think about how many of the individuals in the NFT space come from those two backgrounds, right? Or come from backgrounds.
and
I know
haven't
plenty.
even yet. They're
Yeah.
still coming in. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And still coming in.
And then you throw in
plenty of
avid
people.
board gamer on my phone when I'm, just not busy at work. I'll just pull up a phone
Absolutely.
game.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm basically just a phone gamer at this point, just because I have 2 young kids and a full-time job, and now I'm doing this like a psychopath. So I have 5-10 minute windows to enjoy myself. So yeah.
Well, think about if you have those windows, and you're able to come in and earn something, you're gonna do it, right?
Oh yeah.
And
Absolutely.
I know you all do too, but I know so many individuals who have grinded out free rolls. Just to 1, learn, but 2, add a chance for something higher. People will, if they have the ability to, they will come and complete these tasks, earn the token for something higher, right?
Right.
Yeah.
For something more.
Yeah.
You give the people something to shoot for, they're going to shoot for it.
Totally.
That's that on-screen time you were talking about, right?
Mhm.
So again, and now from you being in the app industry, one of the keys that I think of this game is getting it to become an app. Do you see with the recent news of the Apple Store app and App Store and all that with Fortnite, does that has an impact on games like this, right?
Totally. Yeah. Yeah, it will definitely have an impact on games in general. It already has, that's not the only one that was kind of taken off the market. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I will say, like Vive comes to mind if you're talking about NFTs, but Vive is able to run their own marketplace on the App Store. It's OMI would be the token that runs back to the Vive store, but they allow you to buy gems, which would probably equate to OMI if you were on a regular marketplace, but to be able to buy some of these NFTs, and they have huge IPs behind them. They have Marvel, they just did the Hulk comics this past weekend, and some massive IPs that probably wouldn't be able to get crypto transactions on the app market right now, but because they have their own token that they're allowing you to buy through the App Store, they're
kind of a loophole. So basically, then what you're saying is there's a workaround for chickens as well.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
That's good news.
Yep. Yeah, it is good news.
Because
Axie gets around it by they're not necessarily in the App Store, but they you can still download apps to your phone that aren't through an app store.
Right.
So you can go to their website and you can download the Axie Infinity app onto
directly
your
from
phone
the website
and be able to play mobile.
Very cool. Yeah, I think you're talking about floors, and the biggest boom I think is going to be once everybody can get this on their cell phone and can order chickens right with their credit card.
Oh yeah.
Right from their phone. I think.
And we touched on this a little bit. And if Zach, if you know anything about how they might be able to make this easier, just the idea that they'll be able to use a credit card and then it becomes crypto. Like what kind of steps you think are in between there, of letting people know that, okay, you're using your credit card and you're buying this, but you're actually buying something that is essentially a crypto asset or NFT. And then when you sell it, it'll be sold for, will eventually they'll be sold for dollars and cents, or will they still be sold for WETH? Like, are we always going to be attached to WETH in that regard?
It's a good question. I'm not positive yet.
Yeah.
I think it'll be a tough one to tackle. And I think it also will probably depend on how they build out their metaverse, right? Like, do they want to put a shop behind this?
Yeah.
Do they want to be handling these transactions, which would all filter back to the token, right?
Yeah.
Because if they can just get the token to be an integral part of the game, where if you purchase it, you can also purchase other things through it. Not to turn this into an Axie chat on this podcast or anything, but
that's our best reference, really. Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy. So like you can buy Axies with ETH, but you need AXS and you need SLP if you're really getting into the game and breeding and doing everything within their marketplace too. So, and they have their own marketplace, right? it's a standalone. It's not on OpenSea like we are here.
How do they escape gas?
It's on there. It's just on their network.
Okay, so
every transaction is localized.
Wow.
Yeah, people are going to start realizing that there's just so many other ways besides the ETH blockchain to pull this off, and gas is not something that, this is the first project that I got
gas
on.
Gas isn't anything to be messing around with.
Oh, it was beautiful to not waste money on this mint, right?
Yeah,
right.
Like that was something special. Like that was, I was at the point where like I wasn't going to give up by any means, but I was becoming more selective, and I was getting a little bit like worried, and I was thinking to myself like, man, I don't have the bankroll to compete with just like throwing gas out the window if I miss a mint. And then when chickens came around and said they were going on Poly, it's just like, yeah, it was such an easy decision for me. It just dove everything straight through.
Yeah. I think that there's a lot, right? I mean, even if we stay on WETH, I think that there's a lot that we can do with an in-game currency, an in-game token. I say we, sorry. That's the collective, right?
Yeah, we is us. Yeah, no, absolutely.
Participating,
Yeah, for sure.
But I hope that this is something. I do think that this is something. The more that they talk about a metaverse and, there being more than just our chickens appearing at a racetrack and signing up and racing, the more that happens, the more it just makes sense that you introduce tokenomics, play to earn mechanics outside of just I don't want to say gambling, but wagering factors, right? Because ultimately we will be wagering on races most of the time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're all here to win some money, right?
It
says it right on the video.
Yeah.
I look at this. I look at this differently than wagering, and here's why. I think wagering is done by those outside of that. I look at real horse racing again, because a owner enters a horse into a race. Are they wagering? My son has wrestled. We have to pay for him to enter tournaments.
Yep.
Am I wagering his athletics? I look at these
you're
birds
investing in your kid,
Well, what I'm saying though is I look at these birds as we're just entering these birds in the race. I don't, to call it gambling is, I don't know if that falls in the gambling
fee,
realm,
right? Or the entrance,
the
fee.
Race entry. It's an
the race entry.
That's all we're doing. So I think the gambling, and this is where a lot of people have said, well, this is going to be, gambling this, gambling that. Well, I don't know if we're actually gambling here.
You kind of are. You're putting money on. You're wagering money on a race that you think you can.
No,
win.
I'm just picking my best bird for that race that can win.
Well,
I'm paying the entry
still
fee
paying
for that
money though to get into the race to win money. It's
definitely a semantics game, but I think I understand where Blake is going. You can correct me if I'm wrong. It doesn't feel like gambling in the traditional sense that we understand sports gambling, or putting chips down on a table and knowing that your odds are.
I'm a third party gambling on a sport, whereas here I'm not the third party. If that makes sense.
Well, man, let me pull a Blake here, but talking about allowing outsiders to watch the race and put down like a traditional horse race.
Yeah.
Right. That is gambling.
A lot of new mechanics.
Yeah,
they
did mention that was something that wasn't really on their radar. Yeah.
I can't imagine it would be.
But that's something.
Who's to stop an a third party site that sets up their own gambling?
That's the thing.
I mean, the NBA and the NFL, they didn't allow gambling for the longest time, but you could always gamble on the games.
What's really funny is that like Bovada and mybookie.ag and all these things have been illegal, but you can claim it. Like you can still get your money. Like it's illegal in only the sense that it's like they're hoping that the rhetoric and the
offshore gambling
will tell you not to, but it's like, I'm doing it and you can't stop me and I can claim it and everything. So, I file it on my taxes if I win it. So it's literally one of those things that, was just in name, something you couldn't do. So yeah, as far as, what everyone else can do with the system. I mean, Chicken Derby, they don't they don't have to have any part in that, and it can still thrive elsewhere, which is only going to help the whole platform.
Right.
Well, and to the point of the reason why I brought that up, because I also don't know if chickens will have odds.
Didn't he say chickens wouldn't have odds?
So
I thought I saw that.
If they don't have odds, there's really no gambling aspect
The hell?
to it, really.
Are you referring back to kind of what Zed was dealing with too?
Right. Yeah, Zed stripped their odds.
Knock it off,
at
Tyler.
one point.
What are you doing?
What's wrong? Just keep talking. We're having a good conversation. We're having a good conversation. Keep going.
You know
please.
what? I see that plug.
What this back here?
Stop.
Don't worry about this back here. It's nothing. I'm not affiliated with him. He's just my friend.
Listen, I don't care as long as you're not eating.
Listen, I'll switch it back. If it makes you happy, I'll switch it back. I'm sorry. We can keep going.
No, you do you.
All right, we're back.
Just don't eat.
Do you have caramel in your beard?
Always. It's always in there. I just
Save it for
grab it
later.
when I want to. Yeah. So as long as I'm not eating, you don't have a problem with it, right? I just reloaded. This one this one is pumpkin spice. It's pumpkin spice season. Who doesn't like pumpkin spice?
Jesus, Murphy. You've become a 16-year-old girl.
You know what? I don't care.
Oh.
That's what you get.
It does look pretty amazing.
I'm gonna have
Good
to guess.
Lord, Tyler.
What was it? Shotwell, but what's the
Shotwell
Candy
Candy Company. He's
Talk
got
Talk
it behind
20.
his head.
Oh, that's what it is. Cock Talk 20.
Oh, is that still a thing?
It better just be in perpetuity, right? Just leave that up.
Oh, I might. Maybe I'll get bigger.
Mm.
Maybe I'm definitely gonna name one of my birds Shotwell. That's not fair because he's gonna name his birds.
is
That's gonna be
Shotwell.
confusing.
No, you just gotta name
Hey,
a pumpkin
we're off
spice.
topic. We're off
Pumpkin
topic.
spice.
Get back on topic. This is not fair to our guests here to talk about chickens.
Well, you
Tyler.
You
What?
thought about naming your bird there.
Ah.
Yeah,
Mm.
this one over here. Yeah, maybe something caramel. I can be bought. Anyway, so
Yeah,
what,
name.
What were we talking about?
Yes,
Name-
chickens.
We'll roll it. We can roll with that one.
See, we even got this
naming,
guy,
man.
Bradley Bradshaw. Later, guys, I'll upload later and skip the smacking. He's talking about them lips smacking, Tyler. Good
Listen,
Lord.
if you can't handle
Driving
a
them
little
away.
bit of ASMR, you're at the wrong
Driving
place.
them away.
Are we losing people to Sunday Night Football?
Yeah. Packers are winning. Yeah, so you're talking about naming. They've got news on that. Didn't that say Wednesday earlier on that little the question that Pecking Order Racing has asked?
Well, that was either
No.
airdrop.
Airdrop
Airdrop
Wednesday.
news,
We
sorry.
don't know
Yeah.
for sure about naming yet.
Well, that was my thing that I said from a few episodes ago. Is that airdrop always seemed to make a little bit more sense to me because there's no way they're dropping naming without a website because you're not going to do an OpenSea. So until we get any kind of news or any type of inclination on website, then that's where we are at the moment. And it's not forced, but I know people are clamoring for it because people are going to have fun with it. And check out at coopcollective.io. Our latest article was our chief our chief artist on there making his beautiful articles for us. Dave, Pecking Order Racing, did write about naming, which basically was just telling you, don't be a dick and name it something terrible. But
Please don't.
There was a lot more to it than that.
For real though.
Yeah.
Especially some of the nicer birds. Don't name them something terrible.
Yeah.
So are you guys thinking about doing a contest, a naming contest when that comes around?
Possibly. We've had some
that's a pretty
thoughts
good
around
idea.
that.
Yeah. I have a terrible I have a terrible time even thinking about a concept of what I'll do or naming, but I think we need to be getting that pretty fresh. So any of you guys have ideas out there, if you want to start doing a contest, I would start getting those names written down.
Oh
no.
Is that a little insight?
Is
know,
that a
that's-
nugget?
Little
Was that a
moderator
live
insight?
nugget?
Little drop.
Not much alpha that I can give in the NFT space, but that's about as much alpha as I can give.
Listen, if you
Listen, I had a
if you
hard-
drop nuance in our lap, we're going to make it not nuanced at all. So
Listen, I had,
naming
hard enough,
confirmed.
I had a hard enough time naming my coop name. I have no idea what I'm going to name.
Oh,
my
the
18
text
chickens.
messages that Josh and I back and
Same
forth.
here.
It's like, I don't know what to do with.
Good Lord.
I
Speaking
think
of
it's easier to name the bred birds than the first birds because you can just pick a combination of the parents and that's your baby. It's,
Something new, yeah.
But thinking about themes, I always think about themes, oh shit, I'm sure there's going to be people that just purely go off athletes, right?
Mhm.
I have.
that on, start.
Oh, I've got some.
Naming IU basketball players or something, but Yeah, I don't know. There were some good ones
Does
before
Victor
even the
Oladipo
first
fit into
drop,
that?
right? And then before the third drop for sure. But we've seen some really great names in the chat. Wish I could scroll all the way back. I bet Elvin has a list. Elvin, provide us with your list that
we
you
have
collected.
we have a list.
You do? Yeah.
Yeah, we in the Coop Collective Discord, we have like a place where you can drop it, and if you do it, it's yours. Like you can't steal from anybody else.
Yeah.
You know what, Elvin? Provide us your face and your voice too. I'm gonna bully you until you do it.
You better start locking that list. That's all I'll say. Better start locking that list. I think it's a high priority.
And as much as Apex said that they're not going to force naming, I mean, there's some pretty obvious names out there that people are going to want. And first come, first serve is my idea. You know, I don't think you're going to have any other chance there. So
they did say that you won't have to name your bird to race it, right? Didn't that get said?
Right. So we're gonna. I mean, I'll say. I wish they would all be required to have a name to race, especially coming from if we're gonna have like commentary of the races. I'd hate to see bird
Chicken number
2394. Right. I mean.
Yeah.
I'm just going to name, in fact, you know what I'm going to do? If I commentate any races with unnamed birds, I'm naming them right there. So they're getting a name, whether they like it or not.
Here's what I'll say about that. And I understand that that's kind of a bummer in that regard to like not be able to know that. And that a top bird could just be chicken, 16295. And then 3 days later it has a name. And now you have to, know that happened.
Yeah.
But
at least you'll be able to right away look at it and go, that bird looks familiar.
Yeah.
Or even if it sucks, they're going to hide that by naming it. And then now all of a sudden,
possibly,
this
yeah.
named
So
bird
the stats will still stick there.
But the stats
true.
will stick, right?
That's
that
true.
player, I think that's what that player card profile is going to be.
Post
no
beta,
matter what you do, post beta, right? But what I do like, the idea is that like there are a lot of people. I mean, even me right now at 19 birds, hopefully at 25 by the time everything's get going, I'm still going to struggle to name 25 birds.
Mm-hmm.
And there's other guys like Charles is just like, if I have to name all of these, then I'm going to have to do a random name generator, and I don't think anyone wants that. I don't think a random name generator is something that people want. So I actually still like the idea that an unnamed bird has some value, even if it isn't, racing value. It's still value to you. It's like, oh, I can, if I'm looking at two different birds and one is like Roger McFartface and the other one's unnamed, it's like, and they're basically the same, I'm going to buy the unnamed one because I don't want that stupid name. Even if it's a cool name, like, I don't know, it's like, I can name this what I want. That I think that gives at least something in a regard of like, advantage on the marketplace and just intrigue for new players coming in. So I kind of like the idea because I don't want to see the names become just diluted and stupid, and it almost becomes like a frustrating thing.
I think what separates this almost from Zed in that regard too is like with the racehorses, they've you almost have to try to come up with some sort of clever racehorse name, right? And it's got to be like Gone with the Wind or some weird thing like that. Whereas chickens, you could name them Clarence or Turd.
Well, it's like Winter's Dawn, or something like that, or like the breath
Count
of an angel.
Chocula.
And it has been
like this is Jedediah Furlong, and he's coming for.
You can get real creative with them, right? So it just opens the door. It's awesome.
Has it been confirmed that once you name it, it's stuck?
I think so. I thought so.
I'm pretty sure
he said that. I think Apex dropped that one time in the chat. It wasn't in a dev blog. I think I could be wrong about this, but I think with an NFT in general, it would be really difficult to rename, right?
Yeah.
So it probably depends on how they do their naming mechanics, which would ultimately depend on how they do their mechanics on a selling platform too, right? Like if they have their own marketplace, could be a little bit easier to handle some of those mechanics than it is if you're on OpenSea, where, if you're in ERC, whatever.
How hard would it be? Because I heard some other talks of some other competing companies coming out trying to compete with OpenSea. And I'm thinking like, how hard would it be to take and migrate everything off? Is that
It's already there. So like you can go to Rarible right now.
Okay.
I don't know if you knew this or not. Check out Rarible and you can open your wallet just like you're on OpenSea, and you're going to see all of your NFTs there. So your NFTs, whether you realize it or not, live on your MetaMask or whatever you use, but they live on your MetaMask. They do not live on OpenSea.
Right.
So all your tokens live within MetaMask.
Yeah, that was like an interesting revelation with my sister when she was like, "So, what's my password for OpenSea?" I was like, "No, everything's MetaMask. Like, that's it. Like, everything's connected through here, and that's the only way you're in and out." So,
But all the Chicken Derby stuff is on OpenSea, right? From
like, so that's just how they handle like the metadata of showing it on a site. So, but that's all built on the back end. They could go to some of these new sites, which actually funny that you say that, because I saw some tweets earlier today of people saying or speculating that there have been a couple of big market or big money markets that have been being built in the background that they think are coming Q4 here. So,
and then is that an easy transition, or is it just something that, I mean,
should be that they just provide their metadata and it's just however that market displays it. So we'll see.
Well, Harby brought up a giveaway contest earlier, and we've got one that we need to give away.
Oh. Yes, we do. Yes. And then I think it's a perfect time to move into that and get into our meme contest, which I was
got the memes. Oh, I should pull up Twitter and we can look at the memes.
No, I got them. I got if you throw me the screen, I already have everything ready to roll. I got them all set up, and I got the names correlated with each one to make sure that each person gets proper credit for their masterpiece. So let me see here. Let me just go ahead and steal this over. Make sure it all looks right. Okay, there's my. Blow it up. As you see, my hundreds of chickens sitting on the top. And here we go. This was the finalists. We had in our Discord, we had our OGs vote on all of them. I went on Twitter and I found all the ones that had I think it was at least 3 likes per, and put them all in, and just I did one of the little chicken emoji. It popped up, as you can see right here. Little chicks going up.
Mm-hmm.
And I went in and said, everyone vote for the 4 that you would want in there. And we just let it go for about 24 hours, and it spit out pretty easily. And we ended up avoiding some of the super inappropriate ones, even though we enjoyed them.
They were hilarious. Thank you.
But we did land on these 4. And we'll run through them real quick, and then we'll have the spinner wheel.
Pull them memes up. I want to see them.
All right, this one was from, let's see.
This one's hilarious.
Yeah, one second. It was from Clark 31589, and this was great. It's like, Mom, can I have a chicken?
An alien-eyed Sarama. Yes.
Nope. We have them at home.
No, we have them at home.
This one especially tickled Pecky under racing too. It's just I like that one, and that's exactly what like every mom says. It was like, nope,
we got that at home. It's not the same thing, Mom.
Yeah, and that's how I feel with my chicken sometimes. And I look at him, and I love my coop, and then I just see that, that mother sitting right there, and I want him. And I can't have him.
Who doesn't?
Right. And then next up, we had, let's go up here, going from least to most. I mean, on the nose, but nailed it. This was at Tony Baroni. This would be a unfortunate situation. If you're okay to do it on YouTube, but I would not. Early on when I was just trying to find it on even Apple Podcast, I got some other podcasts that popped up as well. We've since taken them over, which is good, but they're okay podcasts. I didn't mind them.
Yeah, I love that.
So we like that one.
Also, while you're here, like and subscribe to the show. Don't forget to do that. Tell your friends about Cock Talk.
Set those notifications.
Yeah. And we need to get out of children's mode so people can have notifications pop up when we go live. We don't know what that is. We're still noobs. We're figuring it out.
Yeah.
This one works here. This is from at P Watkins 400. Buy more chickens.
Yep.
That's
everyone's MO, right?
It seems too simple. And yeah, I want to buy more chickens every single day.
Every day. Like Crypto Poppy.
I'm actually glad it's on
day.
wheat, because I would probably just pull the trigger all the time. Oh, I got some more ETH in my MetaMask. Here we go.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
that
have to
Coop
actually
envy,
make a
man.
good decision. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
Coop envy. Like Tyler said the other day, he tweeted out showing off all the chickens Crypto Poppy bought. And he's got like 130 of them or something now.
Yep.
Yeah, he's been buying like one chicken a day for a month leading up to it. Yeah, we're gonna be hooking up with him soon too. It's a it's a natural connection there. He's a lot of fun, and
He's got a lot of energy.
yeah, I think it fits.
Yep.
And then finally, this one had the most. This was chicken number one. I've got robot eyes, and it took me a minute to realize these were the actual chickens. 2363 robot eyes. I have alien eyes. Alien eyes. I got angry eyes. And then of course our 5798, the one of a kind. Y'all got eyes?
Yeah, that's such a great one. Oh my gosh.
That chicken is gonna probably dominate.
Like what? That chicken is going to be like. So
Isn't Akita is the one who owns that, right? Isn't that how you say his name?
I think so, yeah. And it's just gonna pop when you see that chicken in your race. And people are just gonna
What's its name gonna be? I can't wait.
Oh, see, that's
Blinken.
really important. Abe Blinken.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Abe
That's a good one.
Blinken. Oh God.
So,
All
yeah.
right, Tyler.
So we had a lot of good drops come through, and we really, really appreciated it because this, a lot of the other ones we did, there were just a lot of people that we were just garnering some new followers and whatnot. And this one, we're like, you know what? We know that the people that are going to be dropping memes here are going to be people that have been hanging around for a while. And, we like the idea that this is probably going to someone who does listen to the show and has been around for a bit. So without further ado, we have them right here.
So Tyler, question,
Yep.
Are we going to do this twice in case one of these people don't get back to us?
Well, every one of these guys have actually liked and I believe retweeted the
Most of our stuff. All right.
No, just the announcement
Gotcha.
that they were in it. So I'm gonna go with just the one.
Okay.
And I believe that we're gonna be able to find them. And if we need to come up with a contingency,
We can
that's
come
fine,
back with
but-
3.
Yeah.
We can
All right.
respin 3 if for whatever reason by next week somebody hasn't claimed it.
Let's
Right,
give
perfect,
a chicken
perfect.
away. Let's
Okay,
do
here
this.
we go. Who wants the countdown?
3.
2.
Oh, 1.
There you go, Blake. Way
It's
to limp
always so
in.
great.
And we go.
Here we go. Chicken time, chicken time, chicken time. Who's going to win a
Winner.
chicken out of these
Oh.
great memes?
Nice.
P. Watkins.
All right.
Oh,
He's
man.
gonna claim. He's
Excellent.
obviously gonna claim.
Yeah, he
I'm
was
here.
he was already
Within
waiting for it.
seconds, I'm here.
Yes.
I'm here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Super active.
Come
All
on, yeah,
right.
that's awesome. Yeah, that's
Congrats,
great.
man.
It's
You
funny.
gotta love seeing it go to somebody that's active in the community, though.
Yep,
yeah, we were
absolutely.
talking about it
Absolutely.
earlier. I think he was one of the guys that was asking me like, "Hey, did you put out the finalists yet?" And I was like,
Yeah, he's like, we gonna do the show tonight?
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Good.
That's awesome.
So
Yeah.
just
Good
to ease the minds of the other 3 that were in this contest, you aren't gonna go home empty-handed. What do we have
Tell them
for
what they'll
'em?
get.
What do you have? What do you have?
What do we have for them, Blake?
something on my head here. We will
Chicken Derby hats. We
will
got merch,
give-
people.
Coop
We're
Collective
gonna give the
hats.
3 runners up a Coop Collective hat. Reach out to us and we will get in contact with you with how to get one to you.
Yep.
Yep. We got 2 styles. We got the one I'm wearing here, which is the snapback with the trucker style on the back, and the one that Blake has is the all black one with the Velcro on the back. Both solid hats. Yeah, loving it.
When's
And it's-
Caramel Collective hat, I guess. I'm seeing.
Oh,
in
that's
the
coming.
chat.
Absolutely coming. But yeah, this was these are awesome. These came from again, buddy we mentioned earlier, Winner Circle ETH at Charles. He's got his own little company. He reached out to us and was gracious enough just to want to be a part of this and help us out and
Yeah.
whatnot.
The
And,
Coop Collective resident whale.
Such a nice job right there. It's all
Real indeed.
hand stitched on. It's really cool. That's my bird, which is even cooler. That's my it's my lizard eye, which I can never sell now. So thanks for that.
Listen,
But
that
they will
bird's
be
got
available
value
to
now.
stud.
You got it on merch, man.
Yeah.
And this is like the true NFT life. You have been able to commercialize one of your birds, even though you didn't mean to.
Yeah. It was just from
Organic.
the go.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah.
You made it.
I did, yes.
Well,
Now it's time to
seriously,
bring everyone with me.
congrats.
By the way,
to
this is
P.
just
Watkins.
the start of these old merch things, hopefully.
Yeah.
So
Just the beginning.
Oh yeah,
As
we
somebody
got
that
some.
loves collecting hats, especially, I
Mhm.
have a wall in front of me of about 40, 50 of them, but I love merchandise. I obviously love what you guys are doing. So I appreciate the invite over here too.
no, we appreciate you coming on,
man.
and we're gonna get you a hat too, Harvey. So
Hey,
Yeah.
we'll holler at
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
Look out for that guy.
I'll be rocking it, and hopefully, we can get some of these beta streams going or beta races going, and
Soon.
the
September
chats
is
are going to be
almost
hopping.
over, people. It's
When we're doing
soon.
beta racing, soon. We know it's soon, but the chat's going to be hopping. It's going to be a different world in both of these in these discords.
Yeah. So yeah, well, Harvey, we appreciate you coming by, man. Seriously, this was a lot.
Yeah, this
of
was
fun.
great. Like it exceeded what I was hoping for. I really
Yeah.
feel like we got into some good stuff that people are going to be really interested about. This was something that everyone's kind of just hinted at and probably wanted to know more. We're so excited about beta that we're not even thinking about down the line, and this is a big part of down the line of what it's going to turn into.
Yep,
absolutely. Yeah, so from us at the Coop Collective, we appreciate you stopping by, and we will get the wallet address from P. Watkins there, and we've got another chicken giveaway coming up here soon, possibly revolving around when beta racing starts, maybe. Keep an eye out for that guy.
Think of those bird names.
Yeah, bird names. Keep thinking of them.
Follow us on Twitter at Cock Talk Derby.
Yep.
Subscribe on YouTube. Follow at Onceharby, ONCE Harby. We all know his name there.
Yep.
Follow him on Twitter as well.
Chicken Coop chat. Yeah, check out coopcollective.io. It's our website. Hey, we got comments now, so you can tell us about our articles. Tell Dave how good he's doing and how well he's writing these things and pumping them out. And
tell me how frustrating it is to hear my lips.
Tell Tyler happy birthday.
It's not going to change anything, but you can tell me.
And over and over again.
Hey, if you get sent a cake, if you ever get sent a cake, I expect a piece sent to my house.
Just real quick. I think it was Hypotamus was saying that they were going to make a
hippopotamus, isn't it?
Hippopotamus.
Yeah, Hypotamus.
I don't know why I keep doing that. I know it's hippopotamus, and then I see it, and it just attacks my brain to say dyslexia. Anyway, thanks. Keep saying that he was going to make birthday cake NFTs for every single day and send me one, with the exception of on my birthday. So he's never fighting on my birthday. And Josh, if you betray me and tell him my birthday, then I quit. So
it's all right. We'll just get Harvey on full time, right?
Hippotamus. What's wrong with me?
I can spend Sunday nights.
Yeah. All right, people. Well, thanks for stopping by. We'll be back next week, hopefully with some more exciting news. Special thanks again to Harvey for stopping by. I am Grateful Coops in the Coop Collective and in the Chicken Derby chat. And there is MBF Express on the left and Waddle Waddle Racing Coops. And at Onceharby, the mod, we bid you adieu.
Till next time. See you around. Hypotamus. What is wrong?